here's two interesting studies. One published in the Bulletin of the World Health Organization on February 3rd in Geneva, and done by an American researcher and by the name of Dr. Robert DeVoglie of the Department of Public Health Services at the University of California at Davis. He will be on our TV show tonight, by the way, just FYI. And what they found, the authors of the study found that while the average number of annual fast food transactions per capita increased from 26.61 to 32.76, average body mass index increased from 25.8 to 26.4. Thus, each 1 unit increase in the average number of annual fast food transactions per person, in other words, by one extra fast food meal per year per person, it's associated with a 0.0329% increase in body mass index. In other words, the more fast food you eat, the fatter you get. And therefore, should we be maybe saying, there's some societal costs associated with that? Should we be recovering that by taxing the fast food industry or doing something like Mayor Bloomberg was talking about? And here's this other study, Nancy Helmish writing this in USA Today. Sugar not only makes you fat, it may be killing you. This is a study of 31,000 people, a multi-year study done in the United States. And they were looking at sugar content versus heart disease. And they found that people who consumed 21% of the daily calories, see, they're saying, if the average Americans consume 15% of their daily calories as sugar, and that's bad. It should be 7% or less. In fact, if you want to say, we should be eating like our ancestors, it should be 0. But anyhow, people who consume 21% had double the risk of death from heart disease. People who consumed between 17 and 21% had 38% higher risk of heart disease, of death from heart disease, dying from a heart attack for sugar. Now, a lot of people die from heart attacks, and it costs us a lot in lost productivity and medical expenses. So shouldn't we be taxing the sugar industry to recover the costs that we are paying to subsidize them? Is this not another great example of another industry that is internalizing the profit and socializing or externalizing the externalities, the costs? Mark Thornton, Ph.D., Senior Fellow with the Ludwig von Mises Institute, mises.org is the website, is on the line with us. Hey, Mark, welcome.
Hey, Tom, it's great to be back on the program.
Thank you for coming back on. So I guess I laid it out. I mean, here we have two different kinds of food that we know, when they are sold, increase the cost to society, to all of us. Should we not recover that cost by taxing sugar specifically and fast food generally?
Well, we've already raised the price of sugar by 400% over the world price, and that doesn't seem to have deterred us at all.
We subsidize it. We've raised the profits of the sugar manufacturers.
And the corn growers as well.
Right, who are sugar manufacturers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I perfectly agree and have known for a long time that excessive amounts of sugar is bad for you, that corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup is bad for you. It's harmful.
So we know that there's two reasons for taxes. One is to raise revenue, but perhaps a more important one, and this is why we determine what taxes we're going to have and what nature they're going to be, is to modify behavior. If we as a society are having to pay for these people showing up in the ER, and we as a society are having to pay for these people who are dying from diseases associated with being overweight, or continually having to take insulin or other things, ongoing medical expenses, shouldn't we as a society say to the companies that are producing this public health disaster, you must help pay for it? What's wrong with that?
Well, it sounds good on the surface, but, the government has screwed this situation up entirely. They're the ones that created the food pyramid and then pushed the American public off of the top of it. I mean,
okay, so let's agree that the food pyramid, actually, they no longer have a food pyramid. That's so 1950s.
And they don't have food stamps either, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but, that's not my debate. That's not my question. Yes, I don't disagree that the government has engaged in policies that help this. And the flip side of that is that the government is engaged in those policies because these industries are lobbying for them. And that has to do with the Supreme Court saying that the First Amendment covers money and the 14th Amendment covers corporations. And that's a whole separate debate. But should we not be recovering these costs through simple taxation? Why not?
I think we need to get to a basic level of this problem and change the way Americans look at the situation. I don't think it's so much that Americans have consuming more sugar. It's that we've been pushing them on this high fructose corn syrup, which is the real dilemma. And if you go back even further in time, it was the government that prohibited sodium cyclamate in the 1960s, which was a perfectly reasonable sugar substitute.
Except that it caused cancer.
Well, it caused cancer
in rats.
If you gave them 350 cans of Diet Coke every day.
Well, that's because a rat only lives 2 years.
Well, I mean, they're using it. They're using this stuff in Britain, and they're using this stuff in Europe, and they have been right along. And the Europeans are all perfectly skinny. I mean, it's sad you can pick an American out in Europe just.
It's not because they're eating sweeteners. And again, we've gotten off topic, but there is a good body of research that you can easily find that indicates that when people drink artificially sweetened, regardless of the sweetener, artificially sweetened beverages, they gain weight. And the reason why is because the body doesn't know how to tell the difference between an artificially sweetened drink and one that's not. And so it excretes the same amount of insulin in order to metabolize what it thinks is that amount of sugar. If you drink an artificially sweetened drink or eat an artificially sweetened food, it's more often drinks, the body produces that insulin, and if there's not sugar there to balance that insulin, it throws you into hunger and it causes you to overeat. So soft drinks are just as bad because you end up overeating anyway. Soft drinks, diet drinks are just as bad as regular drinks. But back to the question, why not recover these costs with taxes? Why not modify behavior with taxes? What is so hysterically bad about that?
Well, taxes are bad in general, for one thing.
Why? I mean, we built a great industrial empire with taxes on imports. They were called tariffs.
Well, that's because the federal government was limited at that time. That was their only source of taxes, and we've spiraled out of control to ever more new increases in taxes. And, this is just another example of the slippery slope.
So your response to this is just a knee-jerk, I don't like taxes?
No. I mean, I've given you other reasons why the government has screwed the situation up in the first place. Let's stipulate that the government should stop screwing the situation up. Still, there's going to be sugar and there's going to be fast food. Shouldn't we recover the costs from the manufacturers of the sugar and the fast food? Nobody thinks that would work, the increase in
I think it would work.
Well, I mean, we've increased the price of sugar.
It worked with tobacco, by the way. In the states that increased tobacco taxes substantially, tobacco consumption actually went down.
Well, I'm all for that, but that trend was in place prior.
No, I mean right now you can look state by state. Anyhow, Mark, we're out of time. Hang on just a second, Mark.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
I hate it when that guy steps on me. Mark Thornton, Ph.D., Mises.org. You can read all about it. Mark, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tom.
Good talking. We'll be right back.